All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with our RTT power rankings, and I'm going to be giving a very harsh ranking of the teams if you replaced their lowest point member with Tapu Bulu. So we're going to start with Jay's team. This is obviously very scientific and important. So Jay now has a Tapu Bulu. So if you look at the synergy here, so Machamp doesn't really enjoy Tapu Bulu so much. Quillfish, though, Quillfish doesn't necessarily like having it on the team, but Quillfish loves the fact that every other team is going to have a Tapu Bulu because that poison typing is really, really good now. Heimor's going to do quite well. Shiftry, of course, gets that power boost, although it doesn't like all the fairy type attacks that are coming. Skarmory feasts on Tapu Bulus, but I don't really see a lot of synergy with it. So, on the other hand, this team doesn't. This team already has. This team already has a fairy type. So, by the way, I'm going to see TB points. So, this team already has a fairy type and a grass type, and they're both pretty good. So, I mean, this team already is really interesting, has a lot of cool options. It's kind of a slow team, but they do have Trick Room. And, I think this team's going to do well. It's an interesting team, I will say that. And not a lot of not fully evolved. It's a really fascinating team. But Tapu Bulu, I think, gives mild synergy. So I'm going to only rate this, I think, a 5 out of 10 in the Tapu Bulu-centric metagame. No, Skarmory is too good into Tapu Bulu, and everyone's going to have one. So, no, I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 in a Tapu Bulu-centric metagame. All right, so now, Vibrava, which, by the way, it's hilarious that this is 1 and Trapinch is 3. So, replaced with Tapu Bulu. So, Bauer's team, if you look at, Palisand, not a huge fan of a new physical grass type with a, boosted wood hammer. That's not going to be fun. Turtonator, obviously fire types enjoy this. Eldegoss, I'm really interested to see how Eldegoss does in this. Jigglypuff, I think, could be very impressive because it really wants to run physical. It doesn't have spread damage. So ally switch is important. Obviously, Bronzer kind of feasts on Tapu Bulu. I think Tapu Bulu does get Guard Dark coverage, but yeah, I don't think it gets a bug move. Maybe it gets Skitter Smack. But Malamar could be an interesting pick to go alongside Tapu Bulu. It likes the free recovery, and it is not really that scared of anything Tapu Bulu can do to it on the physical side. Again, Gleam is not fun, but Malamar should be able to handle. And then if you try to intimidate the opponent's Tapu Bulu, Malamar's going to get a boost. So Malamar's a very good Pokemon. Version likes it. I mean, one thing I see here is that other than Slowpoke G, which I believe is just a pure Psychic type, there's not a lot of great Poison type damage, and that could be a problem. I don't think Girder gets like Poison Jab, and even if it does, it's not doing well. So this team is actually really solid, and it is going to be a pain to deal with. Unless you can somehow deny the Trick Room. But even if you can deny Trick Room, Eldegoss just comes in as like boom, 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 boom. Oh, also, I love the synergy between Eldegoss and Turtonator because Cottonmouth's not going to affect Turtonator if Turtonator is white smoke. So just a really fascinating team, really interesting team. I've used some of these Pokemon before, but some of them, I'm really excited to see how they do. But this team definitely does not have great synergy with the Tapu Bulu. It does appreciate fairy type offense, but again, Tapu Bulu doesn't even have great fairy type offense. So I'm going to say this team actually fares pretty poorly with the addition of Tapu Bulu. Weakening Palisand so much is just really painful. Eon's team. So first thing I see is that Eon already has a grass type, Blossom, but more to the point, like Cursula is a really dominating threat. Barbaracle is a really dominating threat, and Scyther can be extremely powerful as well. All three of these Pokemon. Oh, Blossom actually is the one that gets erased because it's its lowest value mon. Okay. So, that's really interesting to me. Okay, so there's no other grass types. So anyway, like I was saying, got at least 3 really powerful, like, if you ignore me, I will destroy you. Inductory is not bad in Luxray if it's Guts Luxray, which is almost always the inferior ability. But if it's Guts Luxray, then, all of these demand a lot of attention. And so with Tapu Bulu, you can kind of go, full on into a pay attention to me or die strategy, which is really good. And Tapu Bulu, again, it can be physical, but this team really indexes heavily on physical as far as its main damage. So a special Tapu Bulu is not bad, and it does get fairy coverage, which is important because this team's only fairy damage is Dedenne. Only stat fairy damage, rather. So I think this team kind of appreciates it. There's not fantastic synergy. And there's not really poison type damage. I mean, except for coughing. So coughing actually, and Toxapex, I guess. I would doubt that Toxapex OHKOs Tapu Bulu with Sludge Bomb. Maybe if you're Specs or something. But yeah, so I think this team does all right with Tapu Bulu. It likes the extra threats. Altaria likes having someone to beat up on. It doesn't, but then that fairy stuff, like what if it's using fairy attacks? So it's interesting. The extra recovery doesn't really hurt it much. Obviously Altaria and Scyther don't like the fact that everyone else gets free recovering and they don't. Hilariously, you could run a weakness policy set with Ductrio, Alola, minimum special attack, runs Sludge Wave, break Sashes, and then you got a weakness policy activated Tapu Bulu. Although it's a 4 times effective attack. I know its special attack is terrible and it's a spread move, but and then what if you get that 10% proc on poison and you poison your own Tapu Bulu? That would be hilarious. Anyway, definitely some possibilities here. So, fun stuff. I do need to give it a score. I'm going to give it a 5. I don't see negative synergy here at all, but I don't see a lot of positive synergy. Okay. Apple. So we're going to get rid of either Mienfoo or Charmeleon. I think Mienfoo is probably less essential if you're going to have Tapu. So Tapu, obviously has terrible synergy with Grookey. It's like you're also losing your fake out user, your inner focus fake out user, or you're losing your solar power user. Now, Boufflant loves Tapu Bulu because Boufflant doesn't give a crap about grass attacks, but the rest of this team is really not enjoying it. It's funny because every team now has a grass type on it that's going to be vulnerable to the Sun team, but is it though? So I'm not a huge fan. You're a good doggy. Yeah, you are. Good boy. Oh, you heard me talking about Luxray earlier, and he's like, hey, that's me. My dog is called Luxray, by the way. I know Luxray is a cat, but he's a cute dog. He's a great dog. So anyway, that's Lux. There's a lot of pictures of him on the Discord. You want to help you? He's a good boy. He did eat his breakfast. You did eat your breakfast, didn't you, Lux? You're a good boy. Yeah, come on, you good boy. Okay. So anyway, I think this team has probably the worst synergy with Tapu Bulu. So, on the other hand, now look, it's got 4 free points. So, maybe you can do an upgrade, get a good poison type, which is something this team lacks. But I'm gonna say, I could give it 2, but honestly, I don't think any team is gonna have worse synergy. So I'm giving this 1 out of 12. Okay, Surf City Suicunes. All right, now this is more interesting. So here you got a lot of things that really counter grass fairy type, or especially grass type. So Farfetch, Magni, obviously those are weak, but Combuskin, Xatu, those guys are going to be very powerful. Sliggoo into Tapu Bulu. Sliggoo does get a poison move. We know that a lot. Combuskin has stab damage into it. Steelix doesn't care really about the physical attacks, and actually Steelix doesn't mind terrain recovery because it helps it restore chip if you run Sturdy Steelix. Sturdy Steelix is the thing, right? I think. All of these Pokemon enjoy the recovery, except of course the birds. This is not bad synergy, but I would like to see. Oh, Magby's gone, right? But I'd like to see more synergy. Okay, I didn't realize I was doing this at 12. I'm gonna actually upgrade Jay's team so I can have more of them in the middle, because like this team enjoys it sort of, but I'd be looking for a little more synergy. On the other hand, this team doesn't really suffer. It's not like they're really relying on water types or ground rock types that are weak to grass. So like, I mean, Golduck is not going to be happy, but that's it. So I think this is a solid 7. I don't think it enjoys it quite as much as Jay's team. A very good team, by the way. It's going to be a real nightmare to face in the real game, but we're not going to use it. Okay, so tragedy, absolute tragedy for Evil Lame's team, because now they're no longer just in Kanto. But you got Wartortle, Pikachu, Kadabra, Machoke, Executor, Tapu Bulu, Lickitung, Vaporeon, Flareon, Porygon, and Kabutops. This is a really interesting team. Obviously, Kabutops hates the extra grass stuff, but Fairy type is going to be really nice. There's no poison types here. Executor is probably going to be running Trick Room a lot. Tapu Bulu actually makes a really nice combo with Flareon, because like you can, if you're facing like Guts Flareon is actually really good here, because if you're facing a kind of a passive lead, you can flame charge yourself, flame charge into your Tapu Bulu before Guts activates, and it'll do some damage, but not that much. Then you got your policy on your Tapu Bulu, your +1 speed on your Flareon, and then you incur Toxic Orb, and then you've got Grassy Terrain to help sort of recover. And then Tapu Bulu can just do a lot of damage, so that's not bad. You are kind of exacerbating a weakness to ice, but again, Flareon really powerful there. Flareon's gonna love, by the way, all these Tapu Bulus. And Magic Guard Kadabra becomes really interesting here with if you run Focus Sash with it. I know the classic set is Life Orb, but if you run Focus Sash on Kadabra, you're going to be able to survive almost, if you're going to be able to get back to full health if you get chipped by something. Not that Kadabra gets chipped by much, it gets chunked by almost everything, but So I don't think this team particularly hates it, but it certainly doesn't particularly love it. So I may have to be adjusting my things. Just because the main expensive things like Vaporeon and Kabutops do not like Tapu Bulus on every team. Executor's role is now a little more redundant, and Pikachu can't really hurt Tapu Bulu that much. I am only going to give it a 3 out of 12. So we got a lot of low scores up here, so I really hope we come through here on the bottom. All right. So I'm going to get rid of Ponyta, because I don't think Ben would like me to get rid of his only fake out. So this is what we're talking about, by the way. Okay, this team is a happy team with Tapu Bulu. So first off, Lilligant becomes a real threat because now it's got terrain. You can have like Scarf, Energy Ball, and then you've got Tapu Bulu with some Wood Hammers in the back. Rhydon, of course, doesn't like this because everyone's going to have a grass type that can really do damage to it. But feast your eyes on freaking Tentacruel. Tentacruel's got now an automatic OHKO in front of it anytime it wants. I'm pretty sure Tapu Bulu learns Bulldoze, so you can run Bulldoze next to it and really help get a weakness policy set going. Mawile also, to the extent that Mawile has ever been good at anything, Mawile is really good against Tapu Bulu because it'll intimidate it and then be able to Iron Head at it. It might get Poison Jab too. Someone's calling me. Who is calling me? Oh, it's my buddy Sherman. All right, I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to put a new one in later. Anyway, have fun, guys. Okay, so we're resuming now. So, did I give this a grade? I don't think I did. So, anyway, really good team for dealing with the Tapu Bulu centric metagame. So, this might be the strongest one. So, I think I'm going to give it a 12. Again, right on is unfortunate, but everything else here will do very well in the new Tapu Bulu centric metagame. Actually, I'm going to have to take that back. I don't think this is 12. I think this is 11 because look at this team. Okay, so first off, you got Growlithe to intimidate other ones, but then the big thing is you've got Skuntank and Golbat. Reliable, strong poison type damage, and viable. You got 3 different poison type attackers. Other teams are probably not even going to bring their Tapu Bulu, which is crazy because Tapu Bulu is so much better than anything else in RTT. Like, it's so much better. Cottony is going to be a nightmare to deal with. I mean, like, that Trick Room component, like, this team is designed to beat Tapu Bulu, except for the Relicanth. Like, Frostmoth has super effective damage into it. If it's not physical, then Frostmoth with Quiver Dance can just go to town on it. Use it as setup fodder, honestly. And if it is physical, then again, you're getting intimidated by Growlithe. So, and you know, in neither case are you doing anything to Skuntank. So, I mean, I just think this team is perfectly designed to handle Tapu Bulu. Meowth is Meowth is lost. Of course. I don't think Prime is going to mine. Really good team. Okay. So I'm going to give this the 12. But then look at... I'm going to have to downgrade this to 10, and I'm not sure who's a better candidate because Carter's team. So first off, you get Slurpuff, which is going to be hecka easy to proc. You also have Swoobat, who's going to... you can do Grassy Seed Swoobat, and now it's got +2 defense. And if it gets a Calm Mind, which is fairly easy now, okay, now you've got +2 defense, +2 special defense, and +2 special attack. And, like, that's without requiring its partner to proc anything. So definitely very interesting. I think that this team really is going to thrive. And, of course, Haunter is just an assassin. It is a kill Bulu machine. You will lose Marrow. Oh dear, whatever shall we do? Cradilly likes grassy terrain. Ferroseed likes grassy terrain. Charjabug is going to be, Charjabug isn't scared of Tapu Bulu. Rapidash, I think, is really strong. So Rapidash obviously just trounces Tapu Bulu, and I believe it gets Poison Jab. So, a team that's really, I think, designed around this. So very, again, perceptive of Carter. It's really hard. I'm going to have to go back on this. I think this team actually is going to be number 1. It's got Herdier, for Intimidate. Like, both these teams absolutely love the Tapu Bulu-centric metagame now. Jace's team. So, obviously, Roselia is really good in here. Incredible value for 3 points. The rest of the team, though, is not super... I mean, Berserker is happy, but Berserker is slower. He's going to have to eat a close combat. I'm pretty sure it gets close combat, right? It's going to have to eat... Maybe it's superpower. To get some fighting coverage. Alchemy, though, is actually going to be really good for boosting up power of Tapu Bulu. So Tapu Bulu, which is kind of tanky, now can get +2 in both attacking stats. So like it can do some serious damage. I am a little disappointed, by the way, we never got Alchemy plus Swoobat on the same team. Can you imagine? Just get up to +4 in both stats, and you're like, oh, I'm a nuke. Anyway, Cinchino, Cincino. I don't know. Cincino. It can't be Chin. There's no Cincino. I don't know. The normal type dude. Doesn't really have great and no, it has triple axle, so it has some integers into it. Throw obviously doesn't like the fairy typing, but it doesn't mind the healing. So I think this team will do well in the metagame. Berserker again is just really good. And if it's yeah, it is superpower that Bulu gets, so that means Choppleberry, because after the first one, its superpower gets weaker, right? Because its superpower is not close combat. So if it's Choppleberry, like, doesn't care about anything. Claydol obviously has a really hard time setting Trick Room because it eats that stuff up. It doesn't get Grassy Terrain recovery, so Claydol's worse, Wishy-Washy's worse. Berserker's a lot better. Roselia, I think, just really pushes this up. It's not great. It's not fantastic. We're still needing someone in the 6th slot, so yeah, just looking at like Claydol, Wishy-Washy, Zoilus. I mean, Electabuzz isn't great. Throw isn't great in this. Like, I feel like you lose like half your team. So while some of it is really good, some of it's really bad. So, and Roselia, I mean, yeah, it's great, but like that's one Pokemon and it's only a 3, and that's for a reason. It's not that good. So, other teams are going to have the rest of their team that you're going to have to deal with. Plus, you don't get a lot of value out of the extra grass because you already have grass, or the fairy because you already have a fairy. All right. So what 2 spots are left? 9 and 2. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. First off, who are we getting rid of? Probably not Slowpoke, probably Sobble. Sobble seems unuseful. Oh, actually, no, Psych. Slowpoke we're getting rid of because Sobble can proc Bulu's weakness policy with Ice Shard. So obviously, this is a really good team, really well balanced by the defending champs. Noctowl loves having Tapu Bulus on the other team. Phalanx enjoys the recovery. Appleton enjoys the boost to its power and the recovery. Red Piloswine Doublade, are well known for needing some healthy recovery. Litten actually doesn't really like it because its Fake Out is very weak, and so Grassy Terrain will help other Pokemon like Focus Sash users. You can get faked out, and then you just survive a couple turns, and your Sash is back. But Double A does enjoy the fact that Earthquake is weakened. So I think it's a very neutral. I don't think it's hurt by Tapu Bulus. Yeah, nothing here is scary for it. It doesn't really get better, but I wouldn't say it gets worse. It's very neutral. So I'm actually going to bump this up to a 9 and bump you up to an 8, and I'm going to put it at a 7. I think 7 is a good fit. Like it's not hurt. It's not made better. You already had the grass type. You didn't have a fairy type, but I don't think it's much better. But I certainly don't think it's any worse. And then finally, my team. So first off, that's Dartrix getting taken out. So Deuce's Dartrix. Well, that replaces the grass type. So this adds a lot of physical power. But if you look at my synergy, like, where's the synergy? Like, who here is like super happy to be on grassy terrain? Nobody. Extra recovery doesn't really help my team. My team isn't super well poised to deal with a huge influx of grass fairies that have fighting coverage for Kling Klang. I would definitely run a lot of Choppleberry Kling Klang, but that hurts because then I can't run weakness policy. Unless I did something like, Lampent, Will-Wisp, the Bulu, and have weakness policy on the Kling Klang, which would be sick. So maybe I should do that. Or like something like a Linoon Galar parting shot to weaken it. You know, Galarian Rapidash doesn't hate it. Like, none of my team hates Tapu Bulu being around, but none of my team really likes it either. So, Elsock really doesn't like it. Like, I think my team is hurt. Because I don't actually see how my team really benefits from a Tapu Bulu centric meta game. Is it worse than like? It's about the same as Bauer's team. Like, I don't feel like I made work. So maybe I'm slightly better than Bauer's team. I don't think I appreciate it as much as Eon does. So I'm gonna downgrade Bauer's team. I'm gonna downgrade Ibrahim's team, and I'm going to put myself. I'm not. It's not as bad as Apple's. Like Apple's team is just destroyed by like there's Apple's team is so much worse. Mine isn't so much worse, but like I don't have really good damage into it. I've got some fire type. Well, I've got a weak fire type, one steel type who gets pounded by superpower, and one ice type that's also a water type. You know, I don't really have good damage. Yeah, I'm going to give myself that. So these are the final results. We'll zoom out just a little bit. Final results. If every team is. Wait, no. Before I screenshot. So power. We're going to call it power. Okay, so that is these are the results. So I'm going to screenshot this and save this. And there we go. So good luck, have fun, everybody. And yeah, may the best Bulu win. Bye-bye.